Hello and welcome to the Paranormal Spooky Ass channel. Today I'll be doing the Candyman urban legend. I'm reading it off my phone, as you can see. It's a Galaxy A23 5G and with horror movies on the back. And as you can see, I'll be doing a story about that fucker. So the original Candyman, as we all know, brutally murdered by a lynch mob for simply loving a white woman. Sorry. Stupid ass ads. Okay. The Candyman, the urban legend and true story. Horror films have a tendency to incite fears yet unknown to their audience. And it's on City Live. That's the website I have it on. Surprisingly, many of these films are based on true stories, such as Real Life Violent Frenzy of Ed Gein. Yes, that's in Wisconsin. And I live in Wisconsin. Just south of Plainview. Which inspired the foundation of the cult classic slasher flick, The Chainsaw Massacre. Clive Barker, director behind Hellraiser franchise, was the original author of The Forbidden in 1985, a short story which first introduced the now iconic Candyman killer to the horror scene. In 1992, director Bernard Rose adapted the story, simply naming it Candyman. In 1992, follows graduate Helen Lilly, as you can know, a skeptic of the Campfire Candyman tale, whereby an African-American painter named Daniel Robitaille was brutally murdered due to an interracial affair. Sorry, I had to close it off to wipe off my screen before I continue. Yes. Through a torturous and unjust death, an urban legend was birthed, whereby a grotesque man is said to appear when someone calls his name 5 times in front of a mirror. Despite her skepticism, our protagonist Helen commits this ritual, and a spate of unusual serial murders began around town. Most recently, Candyman returned for yet another adaptation from award-winning producer Jordan Peele and director Nia DaCosta. This time, another actor took up the mantle, also playing Baby Anthony from the 1992 film Now All Grown Up. Of course, it's worth mentioning the original Candyman, played by Tony Todd, returns briefly for a cameo appearance by the film's end. Unlike the Chainsaw, Candyman isn't based on a true case. However, it's a production that doesn't shy away from exemplifying the unsolved issues around racial discrimination and law enforcement's history of neglect towards black communities. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so Ruthie McCoy was an African-American woman who had mental issues since she was in her 20s, repeatedly living in and out of mental health hospitals. In 1983, she moved to ABLA public housing, a 15 minutes drive to Corrine Green, the setting for the Candyman films. Originally, these flats were built to be within proximally white communities, but the city council refused, so the complex was shifted to inner black communities. Due to severe neglect and management of the project, crime rates reportedly rose within the area. McCoy called 911, claiming someone was trying to break into her home through her medicine cabinet. Dispatchers ignore the call until her neighbors voice concerns over the loud noises coming from McCoy's apartment. When police finally did arrive, she was already dead, after being shot several times by intruders. Years later, it was found that negligence did indeed occurred, regardless of McCoy's plea for help, assumed to occur due to her being a black, mentally ill woman. Her name is referenced in the 2021 Candyman adaptation twice, one which being the forename of Candyman's first victim, the second being the surname of Anthony's mother. The main character Anthony dies by the end of the film after he himself incidentally is forced into the role of Candyman while otherwise unarmed because he bared the Candyman's hook for a hand. Anthony is gunned down by the police as soon as they barge into his house. No consequences came, blah blah blah, that's from the movie. Except for, McCoy dying in real life. And that's about that. But there was a video. There was two different types of Candyman within the whole history of America. There was one who was a father who killed his son by cyanide and wanted to kill his other kid because of life insurance, aka greedy for money, and he didn't mind causing two more other kids to die by cyanide in pixie sticks. And the second one takes place with a man literally killing multiple boys for sexual fetish and candy, basically. And he was referred as the Candyman, which, as you can tell, crazy. Sorry, I'm looking at Reddit right now. I'm gonna try to find FNR/ghost stories. Yay. Okay, let's see if I can read a ghost story for you guys. I would say the title and the person's name on Reddit, so you can check it out yourself. Ooh, haunted preschool. I'm gonna go with My Great Aunt and the Demon. Let's see. It's short. It's literally short. I'm sorry. Haunted preschool. Let's see. Haunted preschool by user Sasha on Samhan. They teach preschool. I'm gonna say it as that person. I teach preschool, and it is haunted by a little girl that died years ago when my job was a furniture store. A dresser had fallen on her, sadly killing her. I have had experiences where I've heard my name called and had toys in my class removed or end up in areas they shouldn't when no one is in the room. I've always just said, "Hi, I hope your day is okay." However, this experience happened yesterday and was chilling. I went into my empty classroom and I saw a flash of something like a small silhouette or something of a blur of color about child height in front of one of the cubies. And then a child's backpack fell from high up to the bottom of his cubby like it was floating there and fell when it realized I was seeing it. I was so freaked out and didn't believe what I saw, so I just stood there staring for a full minute, trying to process it. There was one. There is one that says my great grandmother's paranormal experience. And it's long, and yeah. I'll probably read one more for you guys if I can find it. Ooh, the haunted as abandoned mansion. I'll be right back. I just have to grab a drink. Sorry. It's by user Annie Ad 1200. Posted 4 days ago. So, in my city, at the end of the street that I live on was a beautiful mansion that had been abandoned for 30 years, chilling near the lake, crucial to the story. A couple of friends and I had decided we wanted to go explore it because of how long it had been abandoned. Keep in mind, I, 18 male, was with all females, 17 to 19 females. We decided to at first sit by the water and have a couple cigarettes. After about 5 minutes, we heard some blood-curdling screams coming from a child. And as we looked around and there was no one there, we got scared, so we decided to go into the house through a broken garage door. Because everything had been boarded up the minute you walked into the garage. You see a door which goes down one hallway to the main room, as well as a set of stairs that goes upstairs to the bedrooms. I wanted to look at the main room, and my friends went upstairs, which is not a problem because obviously I can't handle myself if I encounter someone crazy and human. After about 10 minutes, I found the basement, which had its own little movie theater, and in the corner, what I thought could have been a broom closet was in fact a child's bedroom with a padlock on the door. So in the pitch black, I decided to use my flashlight and look around. And I had found pictures of a burning man besides a rock with engravings on it. I had left a peace offering and left the room. I sat in the movie chairs for a second, and not even 2 minutes later, I felt choking and really, really cold hands around my neck. After trying to pull up something that was not there, but felt so real. I heard a man tell something to let go of me and told me to run away and to get to my friends and go. According to the masculine figure I saw and heard, we were not safe there. And then I heard my friends scream, and I ran upstairs knowing where they are, and there was blood dripping from the walls. And it was not just me that had saw it. And the women had came down out of the fireplace and in petrol burnt, I'd like to say 1960s dress. Open burned wounds on her hands and neck. I grabbed a few friends and we left and sat outside to recuperate. But before we had left, my back was wet and my friend's leg was feeling wet. We had lifted up my shirt and I had 3 scratch marks down the back, and we rolled up my friend's pant leg and there was a huge gash on her leg and 3 claw marks on her arm. To this day, we don't know what happened there, and we have not gone back to find out. Okay, and she even said in a comment, after someone says, "Do not return, you got lucky this time." She's like, "Yeah, they knocked down the building in the summer to build a new house, like to build new houses, but even driving by the spot, I get uncomfortable. Princess Cupcake 72 said, just think about the poor people who are going to buy those houses. And this person's like, you need to call one of those ghost hunters shows ASAP unless you're BSing us. Another says the latter. And OP said, I don't know if there's any ghost hunters near me, but I should definitely look into it. And one says, I've read this thing about a lady coming mug out of the fireplace before. This sounds like something of several stories. OP said, oh ma'am, I have friends to back me up. Now that was cool. So that's the story about Candyman, and also 2 awesome spooky paranormal stories.